A lot of you new subscribers have been asking me about the bracelets that I wear. I only wear two, but I said this before on videos long ago, but obviously got a whole bunch of new subscribers since I said that, so I'm going to say the same thing all over again. My son made me that bracelet. Well, he made both of them. They're both made out of paracord. This is a little heavier here. But the story on this bracelet is, he said in an apocalyptic event, you might need some paracord. And he said it was about, I think 8 or 9 feet of paracord in this one right here. And you know, apocalyptic event, man, that might come in really handy. And it come in handy for a bunch of other stuff, as I said before. And as we all know, every now and then, you got to tie a bitch up. Alright, welcome back to the show, folks. Luthiers versus guitar techs. What's the difference? Well, there's lots of differences, man. Big differences. I am not a luthier. I'm a guitar tech. There's a big difference in that. I've never, in any of my videos, ever claimed to be a luthier. A luthier, I am not. Jerry Rosa is a luthier. I'm a guitar tech. There's a big difference in the two. Though we both do, they both do a lot of the same things. They have a lot of the same tools. They encounter a lot of the same problems. One big difference is a luthier builds instruments. Guitar techs, not so much. Guitar techs have been known to go on the road with bands a lot and travel with them, you know, to be able to fix their shit on the road, on the fly. You know, you go to a big venue and your guitar, oh, what the hell, the string's laying on the neck, man, what happened? And, you know, it's not likely they're going to have a luthier on board with them, but probably a guitar tech that travels with that band, signs on with them, travels with them, tours with them all over the world, wherever they go, if he's a good guitar tech. There are bad guitar techs and there are bad luthiers. And there are good guitar techs and good luthiers too. And there again, Jerry Rosa is one of the best that I have seen on YouTube. I don't know, man. There's just different stuff about them. You know, luthiers, like I say, they build instruments. They know all the measurements, and I've heard Jerry talk about building the Lloyd Loar mandolin. He worked on one, and he took down a lot of measurements and recorded them, obviously. And I don't know, I think he builds his mandolins to those specs, or as close as he can get to them, which is very good. You know, I don't know anybody else that does that. You know, I don't know any guitar techs that actually build guitars. We get into things like technical shit, you know, as the title says. The height of the frets, you know, can you take the frets out, put in higher frets and compensate for the neck angle? Guitar techs might figure the triangle here from the bridge up to the body fret, be it a 14 or 12 fret, back to the heel, and calculate the angle that the neck should set from those 3 dimensions. I don't know if luthiers get into that or not, or if they just, I don't know how luthiers measure it, but I measure it by that. I've got videos of it, how to figure, I forget what the videos are called right now, but basically it tells you the formula to calculate to get the right neck angle as opposed to the plane of the bridge, okay, and the top of the guitar. I think maybe I have 2 videos on that. I can't remember too good. But, you know, and I don't know how luthiers do it. I don't know. I have no clue how luthiers do it. Luthiers probably have no clue how I do it. If you want to see those videos, if I can remember, I'll put links below. But, you know, that's a few differences between luthiers and guitar techs. Usually, people that work in music stores, a lot of the guys that work in music stores set the instruments up and sell them, call themselves guitar techs. That's a freaking joke 99% of the time. Those guys know how to set the guitar up, maybe set the intonation, string height, neck relief, nut action, neck angle if they have to do it, plane of the fretboard, the plane of the bridge on acoustic guitars. I don't know, man. It's just, it's 2 different ball games completely. Luthiers are, you know, one world and guitar techs are another. There's plenty of other things that I'm sure I'm not going to be able to think of in this video because I made no notes. I got no notes on. Only thing I have on is the House That Never Sleeps shirt. And I still got some of these, by the way. If you want one, drop me a line below, get a hold of me, email me. You can get my email address from the About tab on the channel and email me, or send me a private message on Facebook, or I wouldn't recommend YouTube because they don't always come through. They don't notify me. They never did. If you want a shirt, look in the description below. It's got everything you need there to get one, and they go out every Monday. Shirts go out every Monday, so you know, if you order like on a Tuesday, your shirt is not going to be shipped until the following Monday. They go out every Monday. Shirts go out. Thank you guys, every one of you that bought shirts, by the way. Anyways, back to guitar techs and luthiers, or guitar luthiers and techs. Anyways, yeah, there's not a lot of differences, but like I say, a guitar tech travels a lot of times with a band on tour. I don't know any luthiers that do that. What else is different? I don't know, man. I don't know any guitar techs that ever built an instrument. I've never built one. I put a lot of kits together. Like that StewMac kit I did just recently. I didn't put that entire kit together. The body was pretty much assembled already. I did the neck set, got the right angle on that. Set the nut in relief, and I don't know, I can't remember too good what I did to it, but you've seen it in the videos. Usually a luthier and a guitar tech both play music, play some kind of instrument, and that helps a lot in setting the instrument up. I think the better you are at playing, maybe the better you can set them up, or the more detail you go into. I don't think luthiers go into all of the steps of polishing frets until they have a mirror image in them. Now you can get a slick bending fret without feeling the scrapiness of sandpaper without going through all those steps, but they're not going to look like, you know, like a mirror image does. Most guitar techs that are really into their work, when those frets are done, they are just, I mean, rectifying to look at. I mean, they're just so gorgeous to look at. And when you play on them, they're just so slick and smooth. Now, I'm not putting luthiers down. They have their own techniques. I'm not sure how they do it, but I know most of them don't go in all those steps of all the sandpaper and all the polishing, you know, and just putting that much time into a fret job. I know some luthiers around here. I know, there again, I'm not speaking bad of luthiers. I'm speaking bad about luthiers locally here where I live, because I know of three of them. I know of three of them locally in this state. You get a fret job done by them, you get it back and you bend the string, and it's just god-awful feeling, man. And you can even hear it grinding when you bend that string. And when the guys take their instrument back and they bitch about it, luthier tells them, just play it, man. Play it. Bend it. It'll wear off real soon. That's bullshit, man. That should never be. I mean, like I say, luthiers can do that without the mirror image and without the scratchy buzziness that comes along with some of these around here locally that do. What else? I don't know. Both luthier and guitar techs are particular in certain areas like that. Frets. A guitar tech, a good one, will do those frets until they are flawless. Every single fret, across every fret, all the way down the fretboard, the frets will be flawless. Just perfect, man. A good guitar tech will do that. Maybe a really good luthier would do it too, but most luthiers that I've hung around with and learned from, they don't go into all that or spend that much time getting those frets to look like that. Intonation is another thing. The luthiers that I've worked with and been around with over the years, they know how to set the intonation, and they know tricks and things, you know, you can do to get it very, very, very close. Guitar techs, on the other hand, a good guitar tech will sit there for hours and hours and hours and file that saddle, if it's an acoustic. If it's electric, you know, it's a whole different story. But they will sit there for hours if that's what it takes. And I even go into compensating the nut. If I can't make the intonation right back here at the saddle, on acoustic or electric, I'll go into compensating the nut. And I have videos about that. Shows even pictures of it, how I do it. You can do it. People say, well, you know, you hit a note, anything from that note back to the nut's not going to make a difference. Most luthiers will argue this. If you hit a note on a guitar, say that E note right there, A lot of luthiers and people will tell you, well, you know, from that note back to the nut's not going to make any difference. You're wrong, my friend. If you file into that second string, and right where the string breaks away from the nut, okay, file that out and move it back. You're making the entire string scale of that one string longer, okay? It's like moving the fret. If you file it back and make it longer, that's going to drop that note right there and make it lower, because it'll also throw off your 12th fret harmonic. You know, if you file this up here and make the string scale longer, then your harmonic, instead of being on the 12th fret, it's going to be back here just a tiny bit on that string. Not on the 11th fret, but just back slightly from where it would be. It can either make the rest of the notes on that string note out right, or it might make all of them note out wrong. Luthiers, I don't think, get into that kind of detail. Maybe they do. I don't know any, like I say, that do. But that's something a good guitar tech does and can do. Mostly I do it on banjos. Banjos are god-awful to get to intonate right. And I've done that. And if you're familiar with Stelling banjos, Jeff Stelling showed me that trick. And, well, I learned it from him. Let's just put it that way. Well, here's a picture of a banjo nut that's been compensated to make one string or two strings. You can look at the nut and see. Here's a picture of it. Check it out. So you see what I mean? By cutting part of the nut away, making the break angle nearer the headstock, you're increasing that string scale on one string, making it longer, making whatever note that was sharp and you couldn't correct it at the saddle flatter. I don't know if you're with me with all that or not, but that's the way it works. Not a lot of people know about it, but it works, man. So what can I say? But anyways, that's some of the differences, just some. There's not a lot of differences between luthiers and guitar techs, but that's a few of them off the top of my head. It's been coming up on Facebook groups and PMs. I get a lot of PMs. What's the difference, man? Well, that's a few of them. There are more, but I'm not going to go into them right now because it's really late and I'm not really thinking as clearly as I might usually think. Cheers to you. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next video. Get a shirt if you want a shirt. It's in the description below. Cheers! Woo!